A passenger just paid $8,000 for a business class seat to Tokyo and spent 14 hours cramped in what felt like economy plus. Same flight, same airline. But seat 12A, that's a $3,000 per hour mistake. Right now, airlines are playing a game you don't know you're losing. 2 passengers, 2 business class tickets, 2 completely different experiences. And the difference isn't luck, it's the seat number. But here's what's wild. One airline's best business class seat has a design flaw so severe, frequent flyers refuse to book it even when it's the only option. Another has a hidden feature that turns a 16-hour flight into the best sleep you've ever had. And the worst one? It's on an airline that won a Best Business Class award last year. Stick around. It's because what you're about to discover will save you thousands in wasted money and hundreds of hours of regret. Number 10. Worst. American Airlines. 777 300R. The middle seat. Nightmare. Let's start with the one that makes seasoned travelers physically recoil. American Airlines 777 300ER. Seats in the center section. Here's the problem. Nobody warns you about. American's business class has a 2-4-2 configuration. That means 4 seats in the middle. And if you're stuck in one of those center seats, you're paying $6,000 to climb over a stranger every time nature calls. But here's the twist. Those center seats have 0 aisle access, 0 window. And at 16 hours to Sydney, you're basically trapped in a luxury coffin with another person breathing 3 feet away. One passenger reported booking a business class deal, only to discover they'd been assigned 6E, a middle seat, in business class, on a flight longer than most people's workday. The seat itself? Fine. The experience? Worse than some premium economy products. American calls it business class. Frequent flyers call it a scam. But what no one expected was how this design became the blueprint for what not to do. Number 9. Best. Singapore Airlines. A350. The Sleep Laboratory. Now let's flip to number 9 on the best list. Singapore Airlines A350. The product they call the bed in the sky. This isn't marketing fluff. Singapore spent years studying sleep patterns at 40,000 feet. They measured REM cycles. They tested mattress density. They obsessed over pillow loft and fabric breathability. The result? A business class seat that converts into a 76-inch fully flat bed with a separate mattress topper that's thicker than most hotel beds. But here's where it gets interesting. The seat has a built-in lumbar support system with 6 adjustment points. The privacy divider extends high enough to block cabin light completely. And the entertainment system automatically dims based on your sleep cycle. One passenger flew Singapore's A350 from Singapore to New York. 14 hours. They slept for 11. No neck pain, no back stiffness, no grogginess on arrival. Singapore didn't just build a seat. They built a recovery chamber. And this changes everything about long-haul travel. Number 8. Worst. Lufthansa 747-8. The honeymoon disaster. At number 8 worst, we have the seat with the cruelest irony in aviation. Lufthansa 747-8. Row 81. The honeymoon seats. Lufthansa markets these as romantic double seats for couples. 2 seats together. No divider. Perfect for newlyweds, right? Wrong. Here's what they don't tell you. Row 81 is directly in front of the galley and lavatory. That means constant noise, constant traffic, constant lights flipping on every time someone needs the bathroom at 3 a.m. But here's the kicker. Those seats don't recline to fully flat. They stop at 170 degrees. Because of the bulkhead behind them, Lufthansa had to limit the recline to prevent blocking the galley. So you're paying business class prices for premium economy recline with bathroom traffic as your soundtrack. One couple booked these seats for their honeymoon flight to Bangkok. 10 hours. They got maybe 3 hours of broken sleep. Romantic. Only if you consider sleep deprivation a bonding experience. But what happens when an airline tries to maximize profit over passenger comfort? Number 7. Best. Qatar Airways. Qsuite. The game changer. That brings us to number 7 on the best list. Qatar Airways Qsuite. This is the business class seat that made every other airline panic and redesign their cabins. Why? Because Qatar did something insane. They added doors, actual closing doors, in business class. That create a private suite at 40,000 feet. But here's the twist that changes everything. The Qsuite center seats can convert into a quad configuration. 4 seats facing each other with a shared table. Perfect for families or business teams who want to work together. Or they can become double beds. Actual double beds. 2 seats that combine with the divider removed and a mattress that bridges the gap. One family flew Qatar from Doha to Melbourne with 2 kids. They configured the Qsuite to quad mode, played games during dinner, then converted 2 seats into beds for the kids while parents had their own suites. 16 hours felt like 6. Qatar didn't just raise the bar, they moved it to a different stratosphere. And this is why legacy carriers are scrambling. Number 6. Worst. British Airways. 777. The lottery from hell. Number 6. Worst is the most frustrating entry on this list. British Airways 777. The business class lottery. Here's the nightmare. BA's 707s have inconsistent business class products. Some rows have modern club suites with doors and direct aisle access. Other rows have the old yin-yang configuration where every other passenger has to climb over their neighbor. Same ticket price, same business class designation, completely different products. But here's where it gets worse. BA doesn't clearly label which configuration you're booking. You might think you're getting a club suite, only to check in and discover you've got a 2006 era seat that hasn't aged well. One passenger booked BA Business to Austin, paid $7,500, got the old configuration. Their seat faced backwards, had no privacy, and required climbing over their neighbor. The person 3 rows ahead? They had a door, direct aisle access, and a suite that looked 10 years newer. Same ticket, same flight, completely different decades. BA calls it business class. Passengers call it a gamble. But the most shocking part is still ahead. Number 5. Best. Anna, the room. The apartment in the sky. At number 5 best, we have the seat that redefined luxury. All Nippon Airways. The room. The name undersells it. This isn't a seat. It's not even a suite. It's a 20-square-foot personal apartment with walls so high you can't see your neighbors even when standing. Under the surface is Japanese engineering obsession. The seat has 43 inches of width. That's wider than most office desks. The bed extends to 80 inches. That's longer than a standard twin mattress. But here's the secret sauce. Anna added a 24-inch 4K entertainment screen, separate storage compartments for laptops, tablets, phones, and shoes, a wardrobe with hangers, and a door that actually locks. One passenger flew Anna's 707-300ER from Tokyo to New York. 13 hours. They worked for 4 hours, had a full meal service, watched 2 movies, then slept for 6 hours. They landed more refreshed than when they boarded. The room doesn't just compete with first class. It embarrasses most first-class products that cost twice as much. And this changes everything about what business class can be. Number 4. Worst. Air France. 77300ER. The sardine can. Number 4. Worst proves that even prestigious airlines can fail spectacularly. Air France 707-300ER business class. Here's the problem. Air France uses a 2-3-2 configuration. That's 7 seats across in business class. 7. Some economy cabins are wider. But here's where it gets brutal. The seats are angled. Not fully flat. Not even 180 degrees. Their reverse herringbone that tops out at 175 degrees with a footwell so narrow anyone over 6 feet tall has to sleep diagonally. And that center section? 3 seats together means someone is guaranteed to have 0 aisle access. One passenger flew Air France business from Paris to LAX. 11 hours in a seat that felt tighter than some premium economy products. By hour 7, their legs were cramping. By hour 9, they'd given up on sleep entirely. Air France charges $8,000 for this experience. For context, that's more than some airlines charge for first class with better seats. The French call it luxury. Passengers call it expensive disappointment. Number 3. Best. Emirates. New business class. The surprise king. That brings us to number 3. Best. Emirates new business class on the 7X. Wait. Emirates? Known for their extravagant first class? Their business class made the top 3? Yes. And here's why nobody saw it coming. Emirates redesigned their business class from scratch. They added sliding doors for complete privacy. They created a 1-2-1 configuration, ensuring every passenger has direct aisle access. But here's the twist. The seat has a zero-gravity recline position that NASA helped design. It distributes body weight so evenly, passengers report feeling weightless. And the suite has biometric lighting. Sensors detect when you're trying to sleep and automatically adjust cabin lights, screen brightness, and even window tint. One passenger flew the 707X from Dubai to LA. They set the seat to zero-gravity position, activated the privacy mode, and slept for 9 straight hours. They landed feeling like they'd spent the night in a 5-star hotel, not a metal tube at 40,000 feet. Emirates didn't just improve business class. They created a sleep product disguised as an airline seat. But even this engineering marvel can't match what's in the top 2. Because the final 2 aren't just about seats. They're about catastrophic design failures and revolutionary innovations that prove business class isn't created equal. One is so bad, aviation experts use it as a case study in how not to design a cabin. And the other? It's the seat that changed aviation forever and forced every airline to rethink what business class means. Number 2. Worst. United Polaris 767. The retrofit disaster. At number 2, worst, we have the retrofit that should never have happened. United Polaris on the 767. United's Polaris business class on newer planes is actually quite good. But on the 767, it's an engineering catastrophe. Here's what went wrong. United tried to retrofit their old 767s with new Polaris seats, but the aircraft is too narrow, so they compromised. They made the seats narrower. They reduced the recline. They cut the storage space in half. The result? A Polaris seat in name only. But here's the nightmare part. The footwell is so narrow. Passengers have reported getting their feet stuck during sleep. The person in front of you can recline and their seat literally encroaches into your space. One passenger flew United 767 Polaris from Newark to London. 7 hours. They couldn't extend their legs fully. Couldn't adjust the seat without bumping the passenger behind them. Couldn't sleep without feeling claustrophobic. United charges the same price for this 767 Polaris as they do for the real Polaris on the 777. Same name, same price. Completely different torture devices. Aviation consultants now use this as the textbook example of how cost-cutting destroys customer experience. But even this disaster pales compared to what's at number 1 best. Number 1 best. Etihad Business Studio, the undisputed champion. And now, number 1. Etihad Business Studio on the A350. This is the seat that made airlines realize they'd been doing business class wrong for decades. Under the luxury facade is obsessive engineering. The suite has 20.5 inches of width at shoulder height. That's wider than some first-class seats. But here's what makes it revolutionary. The seat has a fixed back shell design. The backrest never moves. Instead, the seat cushion and ottoman extend forward to create a completely flat 80-inch bed. Why does this matter? Because it means the passenger behind you never loses space when you recline. Zero encroachment, zero passive-aggressive seat kicking. But Etihad went further. They added a 24-inch 4K TV that swivels 18 degrees for optimal viewing from any position, wireless charging pads, Bluetooth audio, and a minibar built into the console. One aviation journalist flew Etihad's A350 from Abu Dhabi to New York, 14 hours. They called it the best business class experience in aviation history. Not hyperbole. Their actual quote. The business studio doesn't just compete with first class. On some airlines, it's better. Etihad proved that business class isn't about adding more features. It's about perfecting every single detail until nothing is left to improve. This is the seat that changed everything. 10 seats, 10 completely different realities. One brutal truth. Your seat number matters more than the airline name on your ticket. These aren't just product reviews. They're warnings about where to spend your money and which seats to avoid, like turbulence at 40,000 feet. Because the right seat doesn't just make travel comfortable, it makes it unforgettable for the right reasons. If this changed how you book your next business class flight, hit that like button. Subscribe for more travel intelligence that airlines don't want you to know. Because the right information doesn't just save you money, it saves you from 14 hours of regret. 14 hours of regret. 14 hours of regret.